about the players that will be putting them in those spots. So we're talking MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Breakout Player, and Coach of the Division in the NFC East.
All right, MVP. Here we go. Let's start with, I think this is, I don't want to say fairly obvious, but I think it's fairly obvious.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts.
Okay, yeah. I wanted to say it and see if you were like on the same page. Like, I think, first of all, dynamic with the legs. He's only going to get better as a thrower. He has so far in the league. Like, and the leadership, the likability. Like, I don't think there's going to be a lot of pushback on Jalen Hurts as the MVP. Plus, in terms of value, his ability to do both and the production that he provides, being able to run or throw. I mean, the rushing touchdowns, the yards, like, he is production at every turn.
Yeah.
So in terms of most valuable, like he probably accounts for more offense than anybody in the division.
But he also has it all upstairs at the same time.
Yeah. You're talking like mentally?
Yes.
Yeah, like super crisp, great leader, yeah.
And, I mean, nobody can deny the Super Bowl performance. I mean, he was great. Outside of that weird fumble.
That was bad.
That's the only thing.
With a bum shoulder, too.
Yeah.
What did he put up, like 450?
He threw his ass off. And, I mean, up until the later parts of that game was just on fire. And he's, I would say, the main reason why Philadelphia turned around as quick as they did. I mean, yes, they added a lot of pieces, and yes, Nick Sirianni is amazing, but at the same time, you can't take away from the fact of what Jalen did.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, like, yes, there's other factors, but he is the catalyst and the leading cause of their little mini turnaround after they pivoted off Wentz. Offensive Player of the Year, I think Saquon Barkley, and there's even an argument for in terms of most valuable player. Again, the word value, what he means to that offense. Like when you have a below average quarterback, which they do, Daniel Jones, and a below average offensive line, the running back becomes wildly important on pretty much every play, whether you're carrying the ball, if you're in pass protection, because the line's not very good, and then if you are like out of the backfield pass catching, because you're going to need to be a quick hot route if he feels pressure.
Yeah.
So in terms of what Saquon Barkley can do and the production that he provides, there's an argument for most valuable, so we'll give him the nod here for Offensive Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. He is dynamic. He's a top 3 to 5 back. I worry a little bit about injuries. It's been a while since he put together like 2 or 3 straight years. Like he was hurt for a couple of years there, but I do think he's healthy for most of the games, which I'll take. If he gives me 14 really nice games, I'll take it all day.
The fact that he is so dominant and I would say just explosive in general, and on top of it, the Giants don't have that great of a quarterback, so they need to prop him up a little bit, and they almost let him walk.
The running back,
yes.
Saquon. Yeah, no, it's that's not the right move in that situation. Most of the times I would say, yes, sign the quarterback, let the running back walk, but not here. Our Defensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons. I think there's a real chance for him to win League Defensive Player of the Year.
That's awesome.
He's that good. He's now pretty much transitioned to almost solely pass rush, like edge rusher, as opposed to he was kind of like a rangy linebacker his first year. Could play anywhere, really.
I think this is good for him.
Yeah, we know that the more impactful position is pass rusher over like middle linebacker right now. It's weird because the league kind of pivoted from like a Patrick Willis, Ray Lewis, Navarro Bowman, like inside line, like an inside line. Well, no, James was on the edge. I'm talking from an inside linebacker, like heavy defensive led like league basically.
Yeah.
Again, Ray Lewis, Patrick Willis, like those type of guys in the middle. Like if you didn't have one of those guys, man, that sucks. Like for a while for Pittsburgh, Lawrence Timmons was a guy in the middle. Like Larry Foote was that guy.
Well, I think,
and so it's transitioned into an edge rusher sport. And I think that's good for Parsons.
I think one of the biggest reasons for that is how vigilant the referees are on taking hits away over the middle. I mean, like,
that's fair, yeah.
It used to be like you need that guy to knock the number one receiver out of the game. Like that was the strategy.
Like you would drop your middle linebacker back and he'd just sit there waiting for somebody.
Yep, as soon as he comes over the middle, just take his head off, and then you don't have to worry about him for the rest of the game.
Patrick Willis was fantastic. I miss watching him play.
Yeah, I miss watching Ray Lewis too.
As much as I hated playing against him, he was very good.
Yeah.
All right, Breakout Player of the Year, wide receiver in Washington, Jahan Dotson, second-year guy out of Penn State. I think with Scary Terry on the other side, the lack of ability for defenses to double him frequently is super helpful because he's a crisp route runner, like really good. I don't want to say reminds me of like a Devontae Adams. I would say like so Garrett Wilson, the guy for the Jets, has been drawing a lot of comparisons to Devontae Adams. Yes, because he's playing with Aaron, and Aaron kind of threw out a little, reminds me a little bit of young Devontae. But in terms of like route running, hands, like that crisp nature of the routes, Jahan Dotson also fits that bill for me.
Yeah.
Like twitchy, good routes, like great at the top of the route. And so you can't double him. And guys that are really good at the top of the route, when you can't double them, that's super tough to defend.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance he goes for 1,400 yards, like really, really productive this year.
Yeah. The only thing is, and the only thing I hope is that the quarterback can get him the damn ball.
I was just about to say, like, that's the only concern. Really.
Yeah. I mean, you have Sam Howell thrown to you. So, I mean, I see more problems with that than with him actually as like a receiver. And,
I agree. I think he's going to be open a lot.
He needs a good quarterback.
We just don't know with Sam Howell. He could make us eat our words and just be a stud. I don't
see that happening.
I don't see it.
I don't see it happening.
There's been crazier things. I mean, going into last year, if I would have said Nick Sirianni is going to be Coach of the Year level, was he Coach of the Year? I think he was Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
He's going to be Coach of the Year. Jalen Hurts is going to be an MVP. I'd have been like, you're absolutely crazy. He was an MVP, but an MVP level player.
Right.
And they're going to go to the Super Bowl and almost win it. I'd be like, no.
I mean,
shot.
Yeah, you're right, crazy.
And no, I'm not predicting Washington to be that, but I'm just saying.
Okay. Now, I'm just saying that's going to be the limiting factor.
Table.
The limiting factor here could be the quarterback.
That's fair.
Happy with that?
Okay, so now we have a little bit of time. Now there's like two teams, I think, in each, like AFC and NFC, that are like betting favorites to finish last, but like have the potential to be good, but we all think probably won't be. Cleveland and Washington. I don't know if that description makes sense, but like has the talent. If Deshaun was 2019 Deshaun Watson, people would have Cleveland as the number one team in the division with the talent around them.
Yeah.
But now they're like slated to finish last. Washington now not as much talent, but they're also slated to finish last, but you don't really know at the quarterback, so it wouldn't like astonish you if they ended up being pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. Who would you take, Cleveland or Washington right now?
Cleveland.
You take Cleveland?
I would take Cleveland.
I would probably lean Cleveland.
Cleveland has more pieces.
To me, they feel like they're pretty close to the same level. I think Cleveland's a little bit better. I think Cleveland's closer to like a 7-win team. I think we had them.
Yeah, and
Washington's 5 or 6 at best.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Cleveland more than
It's
Washington.
just interesting. All right.
Coach of the division.
Coach of the year for that division. Nick Sirianni. I mean, first of all, he's going to win the most games. I think that's pretty important. Now, if Brian Dable, so he'll be somewhere around 8-9, 9-8. If he got to like 11, I would probably say Brian Dable, because what he's able to do with Daniel Jones and a bad offensive line.
Yeah.
Like Nick Sirianni's working with more, but I do think Nick Sirianni calling plays this year, if they succeed,
that's all on him.
It was not all, but it was more on his plate.
Yeah.
Like he did more to affect it. Like he put more on his plate this year than he had last year. Like I can respect that. Like so, if they can succeed with that change and with the coaching changes that they've made, like that's a huge credit to him.
Yeah, I agree. There's some good ones in this division, and those are two of the best.
All right, superlatives: MVP Jalen Hurts, Offensive Player of the Year Saquon Barkley, Defensive Player of the Year Micah Parsons, Jahan Dotson as the breakout player, and Eagles coach Nick Sirianni as coach of the division for the NFC East.
Love it. All right, guys, stick around. On the other side